Hey guys, this is Pary's podcast. Welcome to the show.
This podcast is going to be mostly about like prostitution and whether it should be legalized in the U.S. or not.
Yeah.
And I'm going to like start off by saying I think it should be. And if my girlfriend's watching this, I love you so much. And it's not for me, baby. It's for other people.
For the other poor, helpless souls.
Do you know how insane amount of money would be poured into that industry, though?
Right. And that's it seemed with like a lot of drugs before they were legalized. They were like, let's not make this legal until they found a way to tax it and make money. And they're like, just kidding. We're going to legalize that so we can make money.
I think they would have like different tax brackets for that sort of thing.
Oh, or, like depending on maybe like. Yeah, how would they do that?
I never thought about that until just now.
They have to first figure out how to legalize it. Effectively across the board.
Yeah, because like, you don't want to be like, well, this woman is like a really good prostitute, so we got to like have her pay more in taxes because she's in the upper echelon of income.
Yeah, I feel like they probably just
Isn't that crazy?
They probably just do whoever makes the most money, we're just going to tax you more.
Yeah, like,
that's what I would think they would do.
Would they just treat it like an income at sorts, I guess? Like
it is an income, I guess. So yeah.
Could you imagine, like, because you have to pay with, like, credit cards and you have, like, tax statements?
Oh, shit. And then you've got to, like, sign the statement. Do you tip it? I
don't know. Do you tip? Okay, well, first, like, should you get it legalized? So...
Oh, yeah. Let's start small. I agree with you. I think it should be legalized. I think there's nothing wrong with it. Other countries have done it successfully, so... Men
would be far less stressed.
And women.
And... Because if you just go to, like it's like a group of women. It's like, would you rather work at McDonald's or just because it's your body?
Yeah,
like you can do what you want.
They have a certain like level of either they're not fully comfortable with themselves in that light, or they just don't want to do it. It's just like some people like are like, why do you want to be a doctor? And you're like, I just don't want to do it. Like that's just how you feel. So I think so, and I think also like a lot of women view it as like dirty work or something that isn't like something you should be proud of. And I don't really get it because it's attributed promiscuity, and promiscuity isn't inherently a bad thing, but it's viewed a lot of the times as like, oh, you're dirty, you're disgusting, you're a piece of trash. Like,
well, you're meant to be ladylike.
Right, exactly. And I think that's like also, because we've talked before about kind of like male standards, and I think a lot of white male standards of beauty are very imposed on women in general. And I think it's very interesting because if you look at like Renaissance art and all these beautiful statues and paintings, it's the way a woman's body is depicted is very different than sometimes it actually is.
Oh yeah, it's totally changed throughout the years. Like right now, big asses are in.
Right,
but if you go back, literally just go back like 10 years ago before Instagram. They weren't the thing. Like it's not.
And now they're like a thing now, and then now it's like booty pics and like little peach emojis and all that shit.
Do you think part of the thing with like just prostitution is that like women are threatened by other women who are more attractive than them, more desired? Like men would desire those women more than like these other women. Because like if you get like someone who's like an Instagram model, if you ask that person like, would you oppose prostitution, she might be like, I really don't care about it because so many men are after her.
Yeah.
But if you took a woman who like she wasn't as comfortable with the opposite sex and guys didn't like see her as attractive as much, do you think she would see that as a threat?
I don't know. That's hard to say. I like agree and also disagree. Like I feel like definitely women are inherently conditioned growing up to view other women as a threat if they're more beautiful, if they're this and this and this. Like, oh, you should, do your hair this way so guys will talk to you. You should speak this way. You should dress this way so guys will talk to you. So I think
women do that to other women.
I mean, it's like I feel like it's a conditioned thing. Like growing up, at least for me.
But like, from women, like has your dad ever told you to like wear your hair so you can get a guy?
No.
Right, like so women do it to women.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely conditioned, but I think it's women think that's what guys want. They think that that's how guys are thinking, and so they're like, okay, I'm gonna do this because I think that this guy is thinking I should look like this or should do like this.
Yeah, it certainly makes sense, but isn't it okay?
But it is. I agree. Like I think some women view it as a threat, and I think some women like I honestly don't care. Like if someone wants to just go out and like I'm opposed or ask if you're opposed or for prostitution, I'm like, go for it. It's not affecting me. It's not affecting my life. Like, I don't want to hinder anybody else's livelihood.
For women, I can see like that would be seen as a threat because like a lot of women don't like strippers.
Yeah, and I think
for the same reason.
But I think that's also a lot of like self-esteem issues. A lot of women, especially in this country, have like they're just not comfortable with their bodies, or they're just instead of focusing on themselves and being comfortable with who they are, they just decide to take someone else down. Because usually strippers are a lot more confident. Not all of them, but I mean,
pretty much all of them.
You have to have some level of confidence to like be able to do that.
To get on stage in front of all these people,
and
like get
make
naked.
money and like show off your body. You have to. So like I think women are really intimidated by that, and as a result, they're like, instead of being like, oh, I wish I could do something to be like her, they're like, I'm going to tear her down. And so I think that's a common trend.
So women are intimidated by other women's confidence.
I think so.
Not so much their looks.
I feel like it, because your looks and confidence kind of are in tandem with each other. I feel like if you're really confident, usually you look really good, or at least you look more attractive to people, because confidence is really attractive. You could not be the most attractive person in the room, and like if you're confident enough, people will be like, damn, she's hot.
I thought you meant like just having like a certain proportion of like eyes and a forehead and a nose makes you confident. I was like, well, no, it doesn't.
No, sorry.
But like having a confident attitude makes you more attractive.
Right.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So I think that, I mean, obviously, women who are strippers or prostitutes or in any form of sex work are very attractive conventionally or to the general population. So I think that women who are able to do that definitely intimidate women who might not be always seen as conventionally attractive, or just women who are insecure. I feel like that's a common thing.
But like with like prostitution, anyone can do it.
Right.
It's not like there's like an entry. Like,
but I think people believe there is. Like people think, oh,
do they?
Maybe.
Do they think that? I don't think they do.
When I talk to girlfriends about strippers, they're like, oh, you have to be like really beautiful, you have to be really tall. With modeling, same thing.
Oh, yeah.
People, you have to be like 5'10" to be a model. And like, it is about height and about looks, but there's also, if you have a unique feature or something different about you, or just a confidence or an air about you, that sells a lot too.
Right. Yeah, so that makes more sense. Where it's like, well, you can't say you have to be, but you can be like, most successful models have these attributes, so you should try to aim for the area of success. I mean, that's for anyone.
Exactly. And so I think people are like, oh, well, successful models.
That's for basketball players, too.
Right.
It's like, you don't have to be tall, but good luck playing if you're below average height.
But then can you be like a point guard? I don't know what the shorter.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
There are shorter people in basketball teams, because I've seen them, and they're
you don't know them.
No, I have. Okay, well, maybe everyone on their team is like 6'5", and they're probably like 6 foot, but they look really short because everyone else is tall. I don't know. I don't remember what basketball game I was watching, but there was someone who was maybe like 5'11".
Oh, I'm sure if you had like a vertical jump that's like ridiculous, you could probably get away with it. But same thing for like women. I think that. Like, so in terms of, like, because, like, technically, like, it is your own body. For when it comes to, like, from a guy's perspective, I'm imagining it, like, if I had, like, a daughter, like, would I want her to choose that profession because it's, like, it's easier and faster money? Because it certainly is. Like, I can't think of, like, it's the world's oldest profession.
Yeah, I guess.
It really is.
The question would be then, if you had a daughter, would you be opposed to her being a prostitute?
I would prefer she not, but I won't go so far as to forbid it.
What's your reasoning for not wanting her to do it?
Because I don't want her to think that like I don't want her to associate men with like money and a transaction. Like when you have sex, I want you to think of it like, okay, this is with someone you actually want to be around, not just with like any guy who gives you money.
Yeah, and I think I agree with that sentiment, because I do think, but also on the same hand, like, we buy food. And that's like a basic need. And as a transaction, like, you swipe your card for it.
But I think that's different because, I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off, I'm sorry. But I think that the food thing is different because you have to buy food.
Yeah, you don't have to
get
have
water.
Sex. I mean, most of it we have,
Not to survive.
Yeah, like, exactly, for survival. But isn't it kind of more fucked up that we have to pay to survive? Like, we have to pay money to get food, to get water, to survive.
Well, because
we don't have to.
Someone's paying to, like, farm it.
Right.
It's not like you're like, people are profiting, but it's like you can't have like there's like like there's no such thing as a free meal. Someone has to pay for it. Like, someone has to like grow the crop, harvest it, and like put it on. Like, there's a whole, and then it has to ship to you.
Yeah.
Like, you're paying for all of that.
No, I'm saying, isn't it in general like kind of messed up that we have to pay for basic rates? Like, I wish we could figure out a better way around.
I don't know. With
like,
food,
nutrition.
I'm okay with paying for food. Well, water's different because like you can go to a gourmet restaurant.
Yeah.
Right? Or you can go to McDonald's. Like, food, I'm totally on board with, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
water's
also feel
different.
Like, we're privileged because we both have, like, jobs. You can afford getting food, but there are people who are, like, homeless or don't have, like, a job or are unemployed. And, like, I can't imagine being in a position where if I wasn't able to get food, like I'd have to decide on like if I'm gonna get food or.
But those people are also not really concerned with prostitution.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So I think prostitution is definitely more of like a luxury item, if you will.
Yeah. No, like even if it was like it's like weed, you don't have to smoke it. Mm-hmm. Just because it's there doesn't mean you have to do it. Same thing like alcohol with like anything.
Yeah. But I think on the same hand, it also can lead to an addiction. I think sometimes too.
Yeah, but food can lead to addiction too.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like all these things can like these are all like. Within moderation, I think it's perfectly fine, but I think once it gets out of that range, it's kind of like, it can get dangerous.
Yeah, with like the, because like it's kind of hilarious. Like the guys who like go like screw a prostitute, they're the same guys like, I never want my daughter to do this.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, like, yeah, so I wouldn't want, like, remember, like, I just told you that's why I don't want mine to do it, because I don't want her to associate money with men and sex.
Yeah.
I want you to associate, like, some sort of emotional connection with a guy you're having sex with.
But then
that's the only reason.
The question also then becomes, people have one night stands. You don't have to have an emotional connection for that.
But you're also not getting paid for it.
You get like, dinner usually out of it, right?
But you're not. Like, yeah, but dinner doesn't mean sex.
No,
like if a guy buys you dinner, it's not like okay.
But I'm saying like if you have a one night stand, usually prior to the one night stand, you might go out and get like dinner, get drinks, and then you have sex. I'm not saying it's a direct transaction.
Well, that's a date.
Exactly.
That's not a one night stand.
It's like
there's
no. What I'm trying to say is there's no emotional connection with that either. But you're having
okay, when I think of a one night stand, it's like someone you just met, like at a club or a bar.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, but yeah.
But again, like when you bring someone home with you, you're like, okay, like there's like an envelope of money, get that on your way out. You're not saying that to a guy you have a one night stand.
No, I agree. I'm just saying like there's no emotional connect. Like the issue is the emotional connection here. I'm saying that I don't think there's an emotional connection if you have a one night stand with somebody either.
No, yeah, but there's no money involved either. Like when the moment you involve money,
that's when it becomes the issue. For
you. That's what it is. Like. Sex is like that thing where it's like you can give it away for free, but you can't sell it. In this country.
Yeah, in this country.
I think it's the only thing you can give away for free, but you can't sell. Which it's super weird that that's even a thing.
Yeah, but, I agree. I think, I would agree with your sentiment on regarding like sex as a transaction. I don't think it should be viewed as a transaction on this. Like I personally don't, but But
as a worker,
it is a transaction. I understand that that's their line of work, but me personally, it doesn't make sense. Like I just can't do that. Like I couldn't get my brain around that.
Like just because it's available doesn't mean you have to do it.
Exactly.
Like you can be a stripper. Mm-hmm. Like you can doesn't mean you should or you have to. You need to.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So I think it's interesting, but I do think it's also very lucrative. Like they make a lot of money if you're good at it and you're in a good city.
But also you're not going to be able to do that your whole life.
Exactly. And that's like I feel like the same thing with like professional sports. Like if you get one injury, you're gone. If you get a single injury or you get like a blemish on your body or something happens to you as a stripper, like you're done. I feel like that's like.
I mean, I don't think you're done.
I feel like your customers who probably really like you might not. I mean, maybe they'll be okay for a while, but then eventually they'll get, oh, what happened to you? Da 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 da.
Well, that guys don't care about that. It's not like the whole thing about like it's like women are like embarrassed by having stretch marks. Yeah, guys don't care. That's the thing. Women who care. Men don't give a shit.
I think. Like for the longest time growing up, I always thought that guys would care about something like that, and it really is only women who talk about it. It's only women who focus on it, and it's again, like I said earlier, we think that it's what men care about, therefore we start obsessing about it, and it doesn't make any sense because it's like literally no one cares.
Like guys don't care about like more than half the stuff that women think guys care about.
Yeah, which is kind of scary because it's a lot of how our socialization is.
But you know who does care about that stuff? Other women.
Right.
Like I think when a man is comparing himself to like another man, he will try to build himself up to be like bigger than the other guy. Where it's like if I was trying to like go out with you, or like if I'm trying to like make myself like compare me to another guy, I would be like, yeah, like he might have this, but I'm taller, I'm stronger, I have bigger, I have more of something, right? That's what guys will make themselves appear larger than the person they're being compared to. Women will tear down the other women who they're being compared to, where it's like, yeah, but like look at the way she looks, look at how she talks, like she's not classy, look at her. But like that's the difference. Guys don't tear other guys down. Women do it a lot.
I agree. Women do tear each other down a lot.
And guys actually don't care to tear down other women. Like, we don't... Yeah. Guys don't do that. It's like...
I feel like I said, I agree and disagree. Like, there are definitely men, like one in the White House who has a very nice track record of tearing women down and making obvious remarks that are, like, completely off base.
But he's also hardly the typical man.
Exactly. So I'm saying there are like at least the pockets of certain men that I've been around. They have been making like totally offhand comments about women, but for the most part, most of the guys that I'm around like never say stuff like that. That's why when like growing up with like you, I never had like you never said anything like about my appearance or anything like that. But then when I went to university and I was around different groups of guys and they would like make comments like that, I was just shook. I was like, why? Like I've never been exposed to like a guy saying this. I've known girls to say it, but never like a guy to tear a woman down. But I think, yeah, the vast majority of guys don't tear a woman down. It's mostly internalized women doing it.
So this is my hypothesis. There's no way for me to confirm this actually, but is it not that like if women notice, actually, never mind, I can promise you this is true. So now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Like, is it not that like when women see that men find a certain attribute attractive, that so many of them try to do that same thing? Like,
yeah.
like through social media, it's like, okay, yeah, like guys like big boobs and big asses.
Yeah.
Like, there has never been a time where there's more, like, women doing squats to get a bigger ass, or women doing, like, breast augmentation to get bigger boobs. Mm-hmm. But that's not for them.
Like, not for the guy?
No, that's not for the girl. Like,
yeah.
It's for the guy.
I feel like for the most part it is, but then there's also like a lot of women I know who personally were like, I didn't like how I looked personally and I got it changed, but now there's this wave in the mainstream
But I don't
media.
think that's the majority of it.
No,
I think the majority
again, like,
of
these are minority cases, but I feel like for the most part women are like,
I want to get more attention from men.
and I feel like the same thing is with fashion too. A lot of young girls these
Hell
days,
yeah, it's the same thing with fashion.
I was in the mall and I saw like 10 different girls, probably all in high school, almost identical outfits on. And I'm just like, you don't even choose for yourself at this point like what you want to wear. And like that's gonna just transfer over to how you physically look. You're gonna just do it because everyone else is doing it instead of picking what you genuinely like.
Do you know if a feminist like hardcore actually watches this, they're gonna hate you for just saying that?
Why?
They're probably gonna like, and I'm not being dead serious. Like what we just pretty much talked about was like how girls will dress a certain way and act a certain way to please men.
I wouldn't say. I mean
guys do the same thing for women all the damn time.
Definitely to please men, but I feel like it's also because my personal belief is I feel like young women nowadays or young girls don't have the mental fortitude to like genuinely sit with themselves and think about what do I like, what don't I like. They just wear what is from Forever 21, Urban Outfitters, because I think it looks cute, and they don't really know like the meaning or the intention behind it, and it's kind of messed up.
Oh, honestly. Do you think old women would care about prostitution, or do you think young women?
Definitely. I feel like old women would be very against it.
I think they'd be
feel like
super
they would be like,
against it.
"You're a disgusting whore."
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's exact because could you imagine like
what about a girl in middle school or high school
wanting on the issue of prostitution?
Yeah. Because like let's say you have to be like
confused.
What do you think? Like let's say you have to be like at least 18 to be one. Mm-hmm. Like, do you think that a lot of like women, like young women, would go for it?
I don't know.
I think a shit ton would.
I don't know.
Because that's a way, like for one, like you can choose your own work hours, but like and you make way more money.
But I feel like there's also again like
and you get all the attention from guys.
There's a lot of emotional and like mental factors you have to consider, and I feel like a lot of at least the area we've grown up in is very suburban, and so I feel like we've been very pressured to go to college, and there was no other option. So I would be intrigued to see a large majority of women or young girls like, I want to do prostitution, because I feel like it's like a dirty word. It's like taboo. Like when you're in like middle school, no one talks about sex or like periods or menstruation, because you're like, oh, it's taboo, like you don't say this word and you like turn into dust or something. So I feel like they don't even know what prostitution is, honestly.
I mean, I'm sure they do, but they haven't been to Amsterdam to see it.
I haven't talked to like middle schoolers. I have no idea
I don't talk to middle schoolers about the shit either, but I'm just curious, like like my sister who's in high school, like how do you feel if like one of your friends who's 18 just became a prostitute?
What does she think?
I haven't asked her yet.
I was like...
No, but I was like, I never thought about it until just as we're talking about it.
Yeah, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like her generation would be okay with it.
Yeah, I don't think she would care. But I think, like...
It'd be, like, interesting. Like, oh, cool, you do that. Like, that's it. Like, it's like, you're like, oh, my friend works at Apple. You're like, cool.
That's our time, by the way.
All right. Sounds like a...
So, okay. I'm gonna link all your social media so like they can stalk you and find out wherever you are at any time, everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Thank you so much for doing this. I love you. Let's go eat.
Yes, food.